Hey everybody. So I came across an article this week. The article is actually from a few months ago. It's entitled, How Long is Too Long to Stay in Bed? How long is too long to stay in bed? And it starts off by saying, when the house is freezing and it's still dark outside, house is only freezing in South Florida if you put the air conditioner on too low, but be that as it may, when the house is freezing and it's still dark outside, it feels reasonable, even noble, to relish extra minutes in bed. And apparently on TikTok, I'm not a TikTok person, but apparently on TikTok, some celebrate this cozy morning loafing. It's called Herkel-Durkeling. It's an old Scottish phrase for spending idle time awake in bed. Herkel-Durkel is what they do. And of course, we have an expert on this, Eleanor McGlinchey, a sleep psychologist at the Manhattan Therapy Collective, tells us for those who take part, it's important to set limits. I don't know if my parents or grandparents had a sleep psychologist. Somehow they made it through life. But it's important to set limits to this. And so what's the limit? So they go on, is there an acceptable limit to my loafing? There's no hard and fast rule about how long is too long to huddle under the covers after you wake up. But if this happens daily, 15 to 30 minutes should be enough for most people. And then it goes further. And it says that there's something that goes beyond Herkel-Durkel, and that's called bed rotting. Bed rotting, another TikTok trend. So many great things coming out of TikTok. Bed rotting is when you lounge in bed all day or even all weekend. All weekend long. You're just going to lay there in bed. I understand doing that if you're sick, but apparently through a choice, yeah. When I grew up, we weren't bed rotting too much. My father would not allow us to bed rot, sit in bed all day, or even Herkel-Durkel for too long. But what does Judaism say about all this? What's our take on all this? So in the Shulchan Aruch it means a set table. It's the most fundamental book on Jewish law. And it starts off from what you do when you wake up in the morning to the end of your life. And the very, very first thing in the Shulchan Aruch, the first statement, what does it tell us? Yitgaber ka'ari la'amod baboker la'avodat boro. A person should arise in the morning, strengthen himself like a lion, to get up in the morning, la'avot boro, to serve his creator. She'ehu ma'orev hashachar, that you should awake in the morning. The morning shouldn't wake you up. You greet the morning. But the idea here is that you jump out of bed like you're a lion to serve your creator. And what's the idea? What's the Jewish take on Herkel-Durkeling and bed rotting? No. You see, if a person has a higher purpose, if they know that they're created for something greater, if they know that their life is something bigger, you're not going to bed rot all weekend. You're not going to Herkel-Durkel every morning. Don't get me wrong. I get it. It's nice to lay in bed periodically to get a break. But to make a habit of it, to make that the norm, no. Shulchan Aruch tells us, as a Jewish person, how should we go through life? And what's the norm? Get up in the morning like you're a lion. Greet the day. Whatever it is that is, and again, we have our purpose. Torah, mitzvot, helping people, being better at your business, making a difference in your community, changing the world. When a person wants greatness, when they want to do something significant, when you want to do something meaningful, you're not going to Herkel-Durkel every day. You're certainly not going to bed rot on any given weekend. You're going to greet the day and you're going to be great. And again, and when you think of it, by the way, I remember Rabbi Weinberg in the 48 Ways to Wisdom, when he talked about the one mi'ut shena, minimizing sleep. He used to point out, what's the pleasure of sleep? There really is very little pleasure in sleeping. There's that pleasure for those moments where you're dozing off, you're awake, and you're about to fall asleep. That feels good. But when you're sleeping for those 7 hours, there's no pleasure in that. Yes, it's refreshing. Don't get me wrong. I'm all for a good night's sleep. But when those hours are going on, you're not accomplishing much other than refreshing yourself, which is important. But those hours themselves, so to extend that and just hang out in your bed, Again, I'm not anti-fun. I'm not anti-taking a break. I'm not anti-vacation. But the point is this isn't how we look at things in a normative sense. The normal way that we look at things, the regular way, is that we understand that we have a higher purpose, that we're created for something, that we're here to make our families better, our communities better, ourselves better, the world better. We have a purpose in making tikkun olam, bringing Mashiach, anything that we can do to make the world a better place, and being a partner with God in doing that. Laying in bed, you're not going to accomplish it. So get out of bed, greet the world, make a difference, and have a great day, a great Shabbat, and a great life. Shabbat Shalom.